I cannot believe I'm saying this, but my last video was uploaded to my sewing channel about 190 plus, give or take a couple days ago. I cannot believe time has gone by so quickly, but I'm catching you up today because even though I haven't been posting videos, I've definitely been sewing. Stick around, stay tuned, I'm about to break it all down. Hi and welcome back to Dine in Creativity. Thank you so much for being here. My love of sewing is still very much intact, but I believe I may have mentioned it on the last video that I was moving. My husband and I successfully did our cross-country move from Virginia to California. I am settled in. I am standing in my new sewing room. So I'm no longer in my dining room like I was about a year ago or so. And I'm just really excited to share a couple pieces with you today. I'm actually gonna probably do a two-part series of recent makes because I have quite a few to show you and I wanna make sure to be able to talk about the modifications, things of that nature. I know I just launched into the video, but if you're new here, this channel is dedicated to my sewing journey, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. I am a self-taught sewist and have also learned a great deal from different YouTube channels, which I'll try to put some of the ones I've learned from in the description. I love getting the comments, and I've also learned from a lot of the suggestions that you all have given me, which I will share one suggestion I used on a pair of pants that has been immensely helpful. So without further ado, I will go ahead and jump into the first piece that I have to show you for today. I also made this top a while back. You may remember it. I don't know if I've worn it on a video yet, but I love it now that it's getting to be a little bit springtime-like outside. It's been a great opportunity to start pulling some of those pieces out that I wore back in the day. All right. As you may recall, I am a big fan of these little peasant milkmaid, it's not really a milkmaid style top, but you get what I'm saying. Just these little peasant style shirts, and it's got the gusset. I had a bit of fabric left over from a Mood fabric haul. I've also have a dress made out of this material. I've already worn this many times. It is so lightweight, so effortless to put on. The pattern I used was Simplicity 9538. Like I said, I have probably sewn, this is maybe my fourth top out of this pattern. The modifications I like to make, I like the gathered bottom just to kind of cinch in at the waist. You could definitely leave it loose. That would be very cute, but the style I'm going for, I like it cinched. And then I just leave, for this one, I left the sleeves kind of free flowing. It just made it very lightweight, easy to throw on and go. But I like wearing this with, you know, a cute knee-length skirt or high-waisted jeans, something of that nature. This is such a beginner-friendly pattern. Once you get the hang of it, I mean, I think I whipped this up in maybe an hour or two. Very straightforward. Of course, I did the rolled hem on the sleeve, and then my French seams are still very much alive. That's what I like to do. I have not yet invested in a serger, partly because moving is so expensive, and so I've been trying to save a little bit of money, but I also wanted to ask you, if you have a serger, has it been worth the investment? You know, and at this point, I definitely will see myself sewing for the foreseeable future, so I know I would probably use it. I'm just wondering, what is your opinion, if you have one, on whether or not it's worth it. Is it easier to just keep doing the French seams or to zigzag stitch the tops? Or if you feel like somebody is going to continue to sew, would it be a worthwhile investment? Love to hear your thoughts. But this is my first piece. Really fun to sew. Highly recommend it. This little sweater, you may remember that cable knit coral that I showed you a couple videos ago. Well, I ended up sewing this maybe 5 months ago, and it has definitely gotten quite a bit of wear out of it. It's basically just an easy open front flyaway cropped cardigan. Let me show you the, and I will show you the pattern. This is a Know Me by Mimi G. 2003. I loved it. I thought it was so much fun to show. Of course, I made some modifications because that's the part about sewing that I love. It kind of healthily feeds my need to control. You get to be in total control of what you want the garment to look like, if you want the buttons or not, if you want it more cropped, less cropped, all the above. So again, Know Me, Mimi G, 2003. I haven't made the skirt, but that's very cute, but definitely recommend the cardigan. I did leave out the ruffles around the neck. I just wanted something really clean, classic. You just throw it on and go. I'm not slighting ruffles, but I'm kind of out of my ruffles era during this time. I used to wear a lot of ruffles. I thought they were really cute. But lately I've just kind of wanted something really easy and clean to throw on. I actually made, I don't know if you would call it the lapel, I'm gonna call it that, but the lapel around the neck, I added a good inch or two onto that. I wanted a really thick, chunky lapel because I knew it was gonna be a flyaway, so just to give it some substance, if you will. I omitted the buttons, in all honesty, because I'm still shaky on buttonholes. I do try to avoid them if possible. Also, I didn't know how the buttonholes would hold up on this very frayable fabric, but I will show you again as much as I could. I did try to do those French seams or just zigzag stitched around any rough edges, and this little baby has held up very well. So easy to throw on with high-waisted jeans or work pants, throw a bodysuit underneath it. But it's kind of my go-to because it's that nice spring, you know, winter to spring transitional piece for those days that are a little warmer outside. So I highly recommend that particular pattern. Okay, so modifications galore happening over here, but these next two tops, I actually modified this McCall's 7946 pattern, and I will tell you why. This first top was a modified version of the dress. This material, I believe it's upholstery fabric of some kind, and when it was in the dress form, it just hung like a dead fish. It was not cute to me. There was no movement. These, it must be for curtains or something of that nature. I don't care. I love the fabric. I think it's so beautiful. But I went ahead and modified it, just cut it off where I wanted it to lay on my body and made this very cute little summer top. So this one was interesting to sew. This is my first time doing kind of the cinching around the waist. Super happy with how it came out. Again, before I put this away, this was McCall's 7946 pattern. I believe that this was view B, what she's wearing, except cut off at the waist. So this, again, I was very intimidated by these cinches on the inside, but really there is not a lot to them. So if you are a beginner sewer looking to kind of push your skills just a wee bit, I say start with that particular pattern because it was so straightforward. Once you have all the pattern pieces cut out, you basically just take your bias tape, lay it, sew it where you want it to fall, and then thread your elastic through, and you've got your cinched waist. But yeah, certainly happy with this piece. It is one I have also already worn when the temps got over 70 degrees or around 70 degrees. I immediately pulled it out, and I just really enjoy it. The second piece is actually from the same pattern, except again, modified. What I did with this, first of all, this was that beautiful Crepe de Chine. I'm talking like you remember it, but I think I showed it in a couple mini videos ago, many moons ago on this channel, but this was a gorgeous, lightweight Italian, I believe, designer Crepe de Chine from Mood Fabric. I got this for dirt cheap. So I think it was $6 a yard or something. And it was just beautiful to sew with. It really was not as difficult as my first Crepe de Chine piece I ever sewed. And I was very happy about that. Same thing though, you know, just the cinched waist. the modification I did here, now this is something to keep in mind. I used their sleeves from View C, but as you can see, these fall more as a 3/4 sleeve shirt. As you can see, I didn't want that. So all I did was measure my arm and then extend the length of that sleeve. So that's just something to keep in mind if you sew or work with this pattern and you want a full length sleeve. I also, as you can see here, it kind of has the, little extra down at the end, which is very cute. It was not the style I was going for. Again, gotta love sewing because you get to tweak it and make it the exact way that you want it to be. So I just made it a nice clean, well, I say clean, but you know what I'm saying, an elastic band around the wrist, and it is full length, so not shortened. And then I made this top because I thought it would be so kind of romantic and pretty and flowy to have it a little bit longer, not as cropped as the previous shirt that I just sewed you. So just measured where I wanted it to lay, and voila, there you go. But this is a pattern I highly, highly recommend. You will initially have almost like a tube top type situation. You could easily just stop there because there is elastic that will hold it up, but tube tops don't really look that good on my body style. I don't know, I have a very, if it's my short torso or what, but I need something that kind of elongates me a little bit, and you know I love a good square neck, so that's what I did for this one. And again, I'm so glad I did. This is when I feel romantic and pretty when I wear it. So I, again, recommend that pattern, recommend trying new fabrics. It's just a great way to kind of push your skills. All right, so another recent make, this was a couple months ago, was McCall's M8255. 8255, and I sewed up View D. I love the shirt. Okay, I know I was kind of making a face really quick. Overall, I really enjoyed the pattern. I don't know if this top is the best style for my body type. Again, like I said, I have a short torso, so usually if I can highlight that area of my waist that is the smallest, you know, I'm kind of short and boxy in a way. If I can have something that cinches me in a little bit, it looks better. I will obviously throw up some photos of me wearing it. I have worn it, okay, because I did sew it, and the material, I just love this heather gray. I love the sleeves, they billow. It, you know, just really pretty. I do like the tapered effect right here on the top, but this material was one, again, I got many months ago from Joann Fabrics. Super steal of a deal. I mean, I think I got 2 yards, maybe $5 or $6 a yard. It has a zipper, a zipper back. So just makes it easy, throw on and go. And then just the pieces here that are sewn with it, which adds some dimension and structure to the shirt. But I'll pull that up so you can see that gorgeous fabric. But yeah, this is that little top, and overall, I would recommend. Again, I think for me, the issue was my body type, and I don't know if this really flatters me the best, but I do love a scoop neck, and I am wearing it. I think just finding the right pants to go with it is gonna be my best bet. So there you go. So another very modified pattern. All of these are modified. At this point in the sewing game, I will follow the instructions to a point, but then I, again, wanna make it to fit my body type the best, but then also in a way that kind of makes sense to me. I modified this particular pattern. This is McCall's 7931. If you enjoy a very cute, easy to throw on slip skirt, this is your pattern. Go ahead and just purchase this one, especially when it goes on sale. It is the easiest sewing pattern. It's rated, it's rated average, but I omitted the side zipper, not because I don't like zippers at this point, but just because I wanted a traditional slip skirt that you pull on and that's it. So I went ahead and used this beautiful, and it's a little bit, I may need to do a light iron because it's been hanging up, but you get the idea here. I just did this gorgeous kind of seafoam moss green fabric. It's a kind of a satin, which with a white button-down top and pointy low-heeled shoes, you can easily get away with wearing this pretty much anywhere. I mean, I will wear this into the office when it really gets warm outside, and I'm a therapist, so at this point anything goes, you know, especially when you work for yourself. There's not a true dress code. So some days if I'm feeling, you know, fancy or I want to get really dressed up, I will definitely do this with the white button down. I could even see this with like a white bodysuit and very high heels for a night out. But, and I'll show you, okay, again, M7931 is the pattern. Highly recommend. Actually, before I put this away, the final thing, make sure that you go ahead and review not only the finished garment measurements, but also measure the pattern pieces themselves. That was a great tip that a viewer gave me. I religiously do that with all Big 4 patterns now, so thank you for offering me that suggestion. But this one, I had to go up a size or 2 because I realized it would have been way too small if I would have gone with my original kind of Big 4 pattern size. I typically always go for a size 12, but this one, for whatever reason, was the final outcome would have been smaller, too small for me. The other piece, and here's why I wanted to add some extra fabric and kind of go up a size or 2, is I wanted the, I was about to say Velcro, elastic. To me, it just makes sense. Easy breezy slip skirt. I have another slip skirt I got from Amazon. It looks just like this, and I honestly kind of did what they did with their elastic. So instead of inserting this elastic, because I knew I wanted to tuck something, a top into it, I wanted the smooth flat front. So if you want to do that, then you really just only have to, you can attach the elastic and do a zigzag stitch all the way around it. I'm kind of talking quieter because I'm closer to the microphone now and I don't want to be yelling. And then you can go in on a couple select places. I do it on the sides and just make it so that you reinforce that this is where it's supposed to be sewn in. That's a very cursory, simplified explanation on how to do this, but hopefully that makes sense. But then once you do your zigzag all the way around, you know, when you're sewing it, you're pulling it against itself. And so then it reforms. I'm trying to explain this the best I can, but you're pulling it taut, I guess you could say, as far apart, so that then you have some space for it to spring back together. So this was my slip skirt. Of course, with this fabric, it doesn't necessarily fall like the silky kind of slip skirt I would want. Instead, it's more of an A-line, but you know what? For my purposes, that works just great. So I'm looking forward to wearing this. I'm working on another piece, making a top out of this fabric, almost like a square neck kind of cropped top. I'll have to show it to you some other time. But yes, here we go. That was that. So I'm recognizing that this video is starting to get a little longer than I anticipated. So I think this, after showing you this piece, I will make a part 2 to show you my other recent makes. But this is Microsuede I purchased many months ago, also from Joann Fabric. Excuse me. They were having one of those huge sales, and this is actually when I was back living in Virginia, so this is quite a while, and I have been holding on to it for so long. I'm so glad I waited, because I was able to craft and put together a dress that I love. It is so cute with knee-high. I have these cream-colored boots. I will put a picture up there for you to see, and like a really cute necklace of some sort. You could get away, in my opinion. I have worn this to the office because it's kind of that transitional piece of You could wear it in fall, you could wear it in spring. This fabric, this is the the inside of it. It is very thin and lightweight, very movable. It's not stiff, and that's why I went with kind of the A-line flare. Believe it or not, this was a merge of two patterns. I'll show you the first half of the top. Now this one, at the risk of being repetitive, sometimes when you know that you know how to already do a pattern, you gravitate towards it, you know how it's gonna look on your body. That's what I did with this. This is the top that I used. Let's see, obviously view A. I modified the sleeves. I actually used a different pattern for the sleeves because I did not want puffy sleeves. With already, in my opinion, this is just my style, so take it or leave it, but with already this Microsuede material, I didn't want to do a lot of frou-frou, puffy sleeves, because then it almost goes from just being an everyday wear type dress to being, I don't know, a special occasion dress, or just being too much. Again, that is my opinion. I could see where it also could be cute in other variations, but that was a style I wanted. Clean, simple, straightforward, clean lines. So this was the top that I used. Again, it has been a couple months, but I also believe I used this for the skirt bottom and went ahead and just ultra kind of sized up. But you know, as one does when they're just kind of doing their own thing, you run into glitches and you realize this is maybe not going to work. I need to make some other modifications. I actually sized up too much for this skirt, and so I ended up having to just go ahead and make deeper lines all down the front. I also needed to take it in on the front because it was a little too wide for my liking. You know how it is, when you create something, you have a certain vision in your head, and I don't know about you, but until I get that vision in line, I keep tweaking and modifying and altering. Overall, I am so happy with the final outcome. For this Microsuede, I went ahead and did all of my French seams. Now, this is a thick French seam, okay? But like I said, I had to take it in where I could take it in, but I did go ahead and do that pretty much everywhere except for that back zipper where I sewed that. Just for a little bit of variation, I did have this kind of burgundy bias tape, and I just sewed in a burgundy zipper. I just make it a little unique, give it a little something, but you really could do any color you wanted to, but there you have it. So I will be back with a part 2. Then the video after that, I am planning to share with you some great new patterns that I recently ordered from simplicity.com. They were all on sale, great prices, and they are just such a great company. So very happy with those. I look forward to being back. You know me, I'll probably film multiple videos in spurts, but hopefully we'll be a little bit more consistent. And I think the way I can do that is try to keep my videos a smidge shorter, because once I get to talking about sewing, sometimes it's hard for me to stop, but then I need to edit out everything. And so it can just add up some time. But I hope you're doing great. Thank you so much for being here. Any fun spring, summer patterns that you have come across that you'd like to share, any new recent makes that you've made, feel free to describe and share in the comments. I love hearing what you're up to and how you modify certain patterns. Again, thanks for watching. Be well and happy creating.